Hey guys, what's up? I know it's been a while since I actually did a video, and yeah, so it's me, S95. I'm still alive. I know it hasn't really been that long, but it still feels like it's been a pretty long time since I actually uploaded and did a reaction video. So today, I got something interesting, and thank goodness I've been able to actually do this, because I wanted to do something similar to this for quite some time. As you guys know, I did this comparison video between the Takara Tomy and the Hasbro variants of the Beyblade Burst Surge or Sparking bays within of themselves and how the systems got implemented. And, you know, I dived in a little bit with Hasbro. So, we're going to be going over a whole video. This might be a two-part video that I'm actually going to do. Similar to the K9 Averson, except this time it's actually a more enjoyable topic. If you get what I mean. But, yeah, this video is made by Zankye. I've watched him in the past, and luckily I was able to find this video of him pretty much breaking down the whole rise and fall of how Hasbro has been treating the Beyblade Burst toy line, pretty much. To get this out of the way, in no way, shape, or form, I am throwing shade towards Hasbro. I know Hasbro is doing their own thing with the Beyblade brand, and I honestly, respect them for that, because they have released a fair share of pretty good stuff, and I like most of their ideas. Like, it's there, but compared to the Takara Tomy lineup, I honestly say that there's a little bit more care and time put in with the Takara Tomy products than what Hasbro did. And pretty much just I'm just here to kind of go over the fact that Hasbro kind of somewhat lost its edge since the Metal Fight days, which is the Metal Saga, you know, like Metal Fury, Metal Fusion. If I'm actually going in numerical order, actually, Metal Fight, Japanese. Okay, Metal Fusion, Metal Masters, Metal Fury, and Shogun Steel. They kind of lost their edge when it came to those, and we're just here to see what Zankye has to say and his viewpoint. I'll obviously, you know, do the thing where I chip into the video and, you know, give my thoughts and opinions. So, without further ado, let's try and get through this as much as we can. This is probably going to be a long one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Anyway, let's get right into it.
There was a time from the period of Season 1 of Beyblade Burst to Season 2 of Beyblade Burst Evolution that Hasbro's products were on par with the Takara Tomy releases.
Yeah, definitely.
With maybe some worse or some better.
Well, majority of it was pretty
Once
good.
Season 3 came along with Beyblade Burst Turbo, Hasbro was sent spiraling down to the point where even if they are selling very well, they have lost a lot of the respect or hope from Beyblade Burst fans.
Yep.
In this video, I plan to go over how this spiral down affected what modern Hasbro is today with the Beyblade brand. The goal of this video is to first explain and criticize the current state of Hasbro and why I no longer feel genuinely excited for Hasbro and what I hope for the future.
And that's saying a lot, too. Especially a big channel like Zankye, because there was a time where, like, everybody was excited for all of these bays, and now it's kind of just dumbed down it's dumbed down to the fact that now it's just all, like, it's so gimmicky. And back then, it was pretty on par with what we were seeing in the series, but now the care, attention to detail, and everything is just like, nah. It's not even there. And that says a lot when a channel like Zankye and everything, and maybe to an extent, I doubt Illunik, but yeah, it showed for a time, and now with somebody like Zankye, like saying something like this, it kind of shows how much Hasbro has actually went down. And yeah, but otherwise, let's just keep going.
I said this is my opinion.
Right.
And please make sure you understand this point, that even if you enjoy Hasbro or you like the products, this video is not to change your opinion.
Right.
This is to criticize Hasbro and their actions. If you like the bays and you're having fun, you know, more power to you. God bless you for it.
That's kind of like the whole gist when it comes down to me, or anyone whenever we're criticizing Hasbro. It's really just giving our opinion on it. If you like the Hasbro brand, and I've said this in the past, if you like the Hasbro brand, that's completely fine. Like, honestly. Like Zankye said, more power to you. We just don't really enjoy Hasbro as much as we did anymore. So, if you still like the brand, then, like, okay. Like, it's you do you. You do you, man.
It's not what the point of the video is. With that being said, we're going to get started.
Alright, apologists.
Okay, so for this segment, this is the apologist segment. So what this is going to be focusing on is what I like to call Hasbro apologists. Now, what these people basically do is they have hard cope in dealing with criticism and will make any little excuse to try and defend something. So to perfectly highlight this, there's going to be a comment I'm going to put up on the screen. Now, I made
no name showing either.
Some people thought that they made good arguments, which I absolutely disagree. There's maybe like one part where you could say, I guess, but either way, it's no. Okay, so the first thing to address is Takara Tomy is aiming for the competitive side and Hasbro is aiming more to the casual side.
No.
Now, the Hasbro part is true, but Takara Tomy has been making the exact same products for
yeah.
Beyblade as they've been doing. There's not been something where Takara Tomy is like, oh guys.
Yeah, Takara Tomy has been pretty consistent when it comes to Beyblade. Like, sure, there are the ideas like electric drivers and all that, but for the most part, they've stayed pretty consistent since like probably Bakuten at the most. At the most, probably Bakuten or Metal Fight. I don't know, but definitely. Nah, I don't think Takara Tomy leans towards the competitive side as much. But let's just keep going.
We're pretty casual. Now we're going to go into competitive. No. What people are actually trying to do, and this is where they're trying to kind of like twist it, is that since season 3, they have not been on the same mirroring quality as Takara Tomy.
Yeah.
But they have this idea that, oh, well, it's just because it's more casual. Now, yes. That part is actually true. Hasbro is aiming for a more casual audience.
Right.
The issue with this is that when the main focus should be on the Beyblade fans, the reality becomes they're just trying to, and you're going to hear me say this 50 times, so many times in the video, they're trying to maximize profit. So if they can appeal to a more general, broader audience, then they're going to get a lot of casual people inside, and they're going to sell burst like crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It does not mean, nor does it justify all the stupidity that has come from all these years.
Yeah, really, it's just about the money.
Really, just
for the most
idea of sort of the pandemic. Now, I think this can be a fair argument when it depends on the context. Now, the pandemic, for sure, has affected production. There's no doubt about that. I'm not going to be denying
it affected a lot more than just production.
You cannot use it to some sort of crutch to the arguments that, oh, well, Hasbro has done all these screw-ups from Rise up until now because of the pandemic. That is not valid.
No.
With Takara Tomy, Sparking had a lot less products than I think the previous season.
Yeah,
Your DB had less than Sparking. Now, what TT did was they focused more on quality than quantity.
Yeah.
They still had production issues, but especially with DB that has a lot less than previous seasons, the quality is still there. Instead of...
Yeah, honestly, like, if you just, like, look at Hasbro and Takara Tomy, like, side by side, you can definitely tell that Takara puts a lot more time into their Beyblades. and they're pretty much, like, we've gotten some pretty good stuff from Takara Tomy, aside from Hasbro. Like, Hasbro has this thing where they kind of just do whatever, but then, Sparking or Super King and Dynamite, kind of just, like, what Zankye said, pretty much, put the time and effort into their bays and not really care as much as for the money.
Doing a quantity of products which could have a lot of production issues and would be an absolute failure, they focused more on ensuring that the quality of these bays is there as they're creating them and moving on with each season. Hasbro, unfortunately, is not. When Hasbro has all these issues, like they remove the gimmicks or whatever, you can't defend it. You can't defend it because it's not like there's a production issue, like, oh, there's a missing screw or a missing spring on whatever. That's like fine, and that's more forgiving. Like, I remember seeing posts of people talking about the chassis disc from Surge missing like a rivet or whatever. Okay, sure, fine.
Okay.
But it's not a fair argument to use.
That's actually new to me. I didn't know that.
It's just really talking about Pro Series, which I'm going to cover really, really small. Now, I think Pro Series, regardless of all the issues, you do have technically reasons to go get it if you never had a TV. Okay,
actually, hold up.
That still does not...
Okay, so let me talk about Pro Series, because I remember that I gave my opinion on Pro Series when I did a reaction video to when the Pro Series was first announced, which actually was a Zankye video. If I had it my way, honestly, I wish I wish Hasbro did this at first rather than do what they're doing right now, because with this, it kind of has that feel of Metal Fight coming back, sort of. Like, it has that Metal Saga feel to it, like what they were doing back in the past, and making these, like, anime accurate and really good bays. Now, I know they're not, like, good. They're not Takara Tomy level good, but it's there. The time, oh my god. The time and effort and care is put into these bays, and it really shows. It really shows. The only issue I really hear whenever it comes to the Pro Series is definitely when it comes to the teeth. That's really the only issue. Otherwise, I'd say I would rather prefer the Pro Series rather than what they were doing, and I wish that they did this from the start. Because I know that if Hasbro did this from the start, definitely I think Hasbro would have a lot more fans, and also for those people who, like, can't afford the Takara Tomy, like, there are some rare versions of bays, like the black version of Achilles. You can't really get that in a Takara Tomy state, because that's like a 1 in I forgot the box quantity, but that's like a 1 in, like, something chance. And now, like, it's more accessible, pretty much. Like, you can get more stuff via Hasbro, and it's something that they kind of did with Metal Saga, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's been a long time since I actually collected Metal Saga products, but even then, I wish they did this at the start, but, you know, it's whatever. At least we got something on the lines of being somewhat accurate to Takara. Anyway, let's continue.
I mean, all the issues don't... Like,
yeah, they're still there. There are still some issues.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean what they're offering in the Pro Series can't be criticized, because there's a lot of faults of the Pro Series where it just is inexcusable.
Oh my god.
One thing I do have to say is this argument that, oh, Hasbro gave us the parts that we always wanted. We always wanted Extend Plus. They gave it to us. Ultimate Reboot. They gave it to us. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to shut down this argument right now.
Oh boy, here we go.
Is because these are only Takara Tomy compatible. Okay? Right? And if they are not compatible, with the original Hasbro Burst products. And yes, obviously you can assemble it, but they are not meant to be on there. Then it does not make any sense to praise Pro Series.
Hold up. Yeah, hang on. Wasn't, like, you're supposed to use, like, the Pro Series stuff for the Pro Series only? Like, you can't really mix and match the layers and stuff with the actual, like, Takara Tomy stuff, I think. I don't know. I remember that was an issue back then, but it never really got, like, delved into as much. But, yeah, a little confusing there, and if somebody wants to clear that up for me, please do. It will help out a lot, but otherwise, let's just continue.
For giving those parts. They aren't compatible with Hasbro. They don't have much use, and some of them, which I'll get to specifically.
Oh, okay, so pretty much it's just like, you can't really mix and match Takara.
The last part I have to highlight is just really the funniest part, which is don't be too critical with flaws. Like, for the love of God, like, grow up. People can criticize. Like, if you don't like criticism, live in your bubble and just ignore it. Like, I don't get it.
We all have opinions, and I've said this so many times that at this point, I'm surprised it is not a meme or a staple on this channel. But I have said this since I almost started this, alright? You can have your own opinions. You can have your own opinions. You can be as critical as you want to be, but just respect other people's opinions, alright? Like, come on, man. Like, if you don't want the criticism, like he said, just live in your own bubble, alright? Like, but still, though, there is going to be criticism. Just be open to that, at least. Oh, man.
Saying words. Oh, you're being, like, criticism is criticism.
Exactly.
Obviously, I'm going to get constructive with it as we go through the video, but it's just...
Serious? Alright, there's an...
Now, the argument is basically on the premise that Hasbro makes a specific set of Beyblades or something with a random booster prize, or things like that, easier to get. Okay, now let's look at this argument. How valid is it? Now, this argument, if this was around the era of Switch Strike, I would say that is extremely valid and a very good point. In fact, it was really one of the biggest positives during the Metal Fight era, where prize bays were super easy and cheap to get.
Yeah.
Thanks to Hasbro's accessibility.
Right. I think I actually said this earlier about, like, the accessibility and all that. But, you know, let's see what Zankye has to say, though. Let's see what he has to say.
Once you get Turbo, that doesn't really hold up.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Dread Hades doesn't have all the metal like the original Hades. Also, they don't do dash drivers.
Right.
Vice Leopard does not have the metal.
Yep.
Crash Ragnarok
does not have metal.
On it. They're all nerfed.
And it doesn't even have the frame.
Really, like, we're getting like an accessible bay that's to the quality of TT. They're modified versions. Of course, some with varying, some a lot closer than others, but it doesn't really work. And as well, also, if they don't give frames or parts or whatever, the argument of accessibility gets a little bit weaker. Like, if they do a release of something and that thing is not easy to get, then that kind of sucks.
Right.
Well, let me give you an example. Hey, did you know that Twin Noctimus and Strike Valkyriek, the only actual way to get them is on a Battle Tower set?
Yep.
So just to get you some context, the only way to get the 2 anime accurate bays is for you to originally spend money on a big set. And they've done this strategy over the years where they'll have a specific set that has the original anime colors so you can go buy it.
Well, some did, not all. But like the Golden Dragon, sort of.
If it was recolored,
but at the same time, though, yeah.
Some of the anime recolors in it. It's a tactic. It's whatever. But when people criticize TT for locking bays in sets, it's like you can't be ignorant to when Hasbro does the exact same thing. But let's talk about Pro Series.
Hold on, what was that?
Pro Series, how valid is it?
I'm sorry. What? What was that?
Part? Sets. It's like you can't be ignorant to when Hasbro.
Okay. I cut the next part since it's mostly just me hammering the point that for Rise/Surge releases that were prize bays are again not the same quality. Yeah, okay. So when it just comes down to it, they definitely don't really add up to each other. They don't really stack with each other. And it's kind of sad to see. It's just really sad to see. So yeah, accessibility is definitely limited. Let's keep going.
The exact same thing. But let's talk about Pro Series. Now, for Pro Series, how valid is this accessibility argument? This is the only time where I would say that.
Only time aside from.
But it's not necessarily valid for Hasbro fans. I feel it's more valid for the Takara Tomy fans.
Yeah.
I was going to mention the fact that the argument's kind of weird because if Hasbro does Pro Series and it's limited releases and they have to pick very specific parts.
Pro Series. I'm sorry, I have to pause because I can't read too fast and most of the words I can't even catch. All right. Pro Series, it depends on the release, but things like discs or specific parts would be very valid reasons to cop. Really, it's just the idea that Pro Series is very poorly thought out, but I'll get, okay. Yeah, Pro Series feels like it was a last-minute thing.
Accessibility to these competitive parts becomes even weaker because you're not really getting some of the competitive parts you should be getting from Hasbro.
Right.
They're cheapening out. But yeah, I would say that for Pro Series accessibility, I guess is the fairest you could probably argue on their side.
Alright, the big Has problem.
TLDR. Now, what is a common trend that you have noticed with Turbo, Rise, and Surge?
The gimmicks?
More or less, each one follows the trend the same. Removes a core gimmick from the system. Removes main gimmicks from the performance sets, with maybe some still having those gimmicks. Same would apply to layers. Not on the same level as the Takara Tomy quality.
Yep.
Turbo issue. Now, in Season 3, what was the entire point?
Okay, so I'm sorry, but I'm gonna stop right here, because I don't want the video running on for too long. But yeah, so far we've covered down pretty much 3 chapters, and you know what I think so far is definitely most of the points that Zankye has made are very, very valid at the most, and I agree with most, and I know someone will get on to me, if not all, the points, for the most part, but yeah, you know, I've been wanting to get something like this off the ground for quite some time, and thankfully with Zankye's video, it feels like I'm using this as a crutch, but no. So yeah, I don't really have that much to really say as of right now, but definitely this is just scratching the surface of how much Hasbro has really kind of dipped in its quality and everything. Now, I will make this clear yet again before I end off this video. If you like Hasbro, that is completely fine, alright? More power to you. I'm just here to express my opinions and also to, you know, do a fun reaction video to Zankye's video that I honestly personally like. But otherwise, yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I guess this technically counts as a part 1, so to speak. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want, and I'll see you guys in part 2. Peace.